Okay, welcome back. Part 10. Let me check. Part 9. The split screen problem. So I've had to think about this. I've done some setup. First thing you can see, because I've enabled OBS to show in the recording, is I've changed the OBS setup. So what I've done in OBS is you can change the canvas size, and I've essentially made that 2 times HD. So it's like 3840 by 1080p. Then I've dropped the filter on my webcam, and I've made the webcam go on the left, so that will occupy a perfect 1920 pixels. And then on the right, I've got the screen recording. You can see the screen recording isn't perfect HD. I've kind of resized it a bit. I've left the black border. I'll probably come in at a later stage and mess around with this. I may move it to the left, the right, use the gutter for something, not sure. Doesn't really matter. I just need this set up to prove this. So now what will happen is every time I'm doing a recording through OBS, it's chucking out a double video essentially. I googled this. There's a couple of different ways to do this. So this is this wide canvas that is split later recommendation, because I just asked Google. There's also this source record plugin. I had a quick look at this. It doesn't have great reviews. People are talking about it crashing, whatnot, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like that. And I thought, you know what, I like this idea of it having one video with both bits of footage in the one video, because then it's just one file when I'm like dropping it and moving it around. Once it goes through the pipeline, it's going to be multiple files. You'll see that in a second. But this seemed like a good approach. CPU is still good, so even recording more video, CPU usage is pretty good. I have to apologize for the audio. It's getting windy here, and I've got the fan on because it's humid, so there might be a bit of background noise. I'll try and speak a bit closer to the Mac. So I've written a PRD for this. So this is a separate PRD. We talked about my thoughts last time about the two problems here. So problem 1, the video resolution, and problem 2, generating value of short content value of short generation. We're not working on this. We're only working on problem 1, then we'll come back to problem 2. Before I go to the PRD, let me just show you a recording, because I've got one. So this is that split screen recording, because I did a test one. This is what we're going to run it on. So it's only a short video, but you can see like exactly what you just saw. I'm kind of chatting on the left, and the screen's on the right. Just need to pause for a sec. Okay, picking back up. Just the boy. Where was I? So yeah, we're going to get these massive videos, which is fine. Effectively, this means that all file sizes have just doubled. So whatever I was talking about in previous videos, from a source perspective and some of the intermediary perspectives, the file size has doubled for everything. So one thing I've just thought pre-flight is, let me just add this. Before I forget, double. This is a nice to have, but might as well have it in there. So let me talk you through how I think this is going to work. Then we're going to put Claude to work on this, see if it can crack this. So split video extraction requirement. I want to extend the video processing pipeline to optionally handle videos of the split screen recording. So optional is key here, because I may go, hey, you know what, I'm going to start doing a different style of video where I don't want this treatment, and the pipeline we've currently built, where it's just working on HD videos, is fine. So I'm going to want to switch to toggle this. So I want to keep all the old code in place and just make sort of surgical cuts through the pipeline to enable this treatment. So I'm giving Claude a bit of info on what the current setup is. So these split screen recordings are essentially 2 1080p videos stitched together. So one 340 1080p video. The left side of the video will contain a 1080p webcam recording, and the right side will contain a screen recording, also 1080p. I'll just be a bit more explicit. I know I don't need to do this. By this point, we know it's smart enough to figure these things out. Changes required. Config. Introduce a new config value in config YAML to support this mode, source processing mode, which should support two values, default and split screen. I may introduce further modes, so that's why I want to do this, because then if I come and go, oh, I'll do something new and crazy, it will just be a case of, hey, introduce a third mode. All subsequent changes in this document will require checking for the config value and supporting the current behavior, i.e. how it's currently working, and the new split screen behavior if specified. So if this all works, I'll probably only do the split screen. But what it means is I'm building something that is like gonna require OBS to always do split screen recording. So if I want to back out of that at some point, then I'm gonna want to safety hatch, escape hatch. So pre-flight, first change, double estimated disk multiplier. As I said, the videos are double, so just bump that up if this is set to split screen. Process footage. Process footage should extract the source footage to two new files, side left and side right. Only side left should contain the audio. And what I haven't done is go, actually, all subsequent scripts working with audio should use this file. I'm assuming it's going to be able to figure that out. So what that process footage at the moment is only extracting audio. What I'm saying is you can extract the audio. All subsequent scripts working with audio. Actually, I don't think I need that because it's doing the audio extraction as well. So I could say process footage should extract the source footage to two new files as well as the existing audio extraction. So the existing audio extraction should all just work as it currently does. Actually, I was debating just getting this to run while I talk through it, but given I've already found a problem, I'll keep reading through it. So then I'm jumping to Recompose because I think detect silence will work fine. No changes there. Process footage should now run the apply. Should now run and apply the silence trim to both videos independently, making exactly the same cuts, generating Recompose left, Recompose right. So if you think about what Recompose is doing, it's just going chop this bit out, chop this bit out, chop this bit out. It doesn't care whether those videos have got audio in them as well, it's just making cuts. So if it makes the same cuts to both, you're going to end up with Recompose left trimmed and Recompose right trimmed. It's going to double the length of recomposing because it's got to do it twice. That's fine. It's going to be worth it for what I'm going to be able to then do with it in the next bit. So 9 render outputs, this is where we were in the last video and where this has gone a bit awry. So render output should be split into two files, both with additional changes. These should be able to run independently, assuming all preceding workflow stages have been run. So same thing, I want to be able to go just run 9 render HD and just run 9 render shorts. So if you remember last time, I wasn't a fan of that one script, render output, doing everything in one go. So I'm saying, hey, split it up so we can run each one independently, potentially give different treatments, debug, etc. It's going to make debugging easier. And then with the following changes. So render HD output is only going to render the kind of full screen YouTube video. This will take the webcam footage, Recompose left, and overlay it in the bottom, good job I didn't run it, bottom left over Recompose right, and I'll say which should be full screen for a final 1920 1080 output. I'm specifying sizes here, which is probably not good because this in theory would work on 720p, but I'm kind of okay with constraining this. Create editable config values for percentage scale and location for the, I'll say, recompose left overlay. I don't need to write that anymore because I've said it earlier. So essentially what I'm asking you to do is go, hey, re-edit this, put recomposed left in the bottom corner of recompose right, so it looks like the webcam footage you're used to seeing. And in fact, I've just realized, because I am recording this with this split screen, if this doesn't work, I can't produce this video. So that's an interesting bind I've got myself into. All other functionality in 9 render output should apply. Please advise for best approach. So I'm going, hey, I'm not sure I've got all this right. Then render shorts. So I'm giving it the name of the function. I don't need to do this, but I like kind of being specific. This should be expanded to process shorts differently from the main video output. This is a key. Target resolution for shorts is 1080 1920. Working with the existing extraction logic for shorts, compose the shorts, so recompose left occupies the top half of the frame and recompose right occupies the bottom. Both videos should scale to fit the 1080p width, but don't stretch them. Leave a black gap at the top and the bottom of the resulting videos. That's where I'm going to stop, because if it nails all that, then it's going to be easy to go, oh, move that around, put that there, and start doing overlays, etc. I tried to find that Claude advert I was talking about with the Raspberry Pi thing. I've gone and followed Anthropic and Claude on Facebook and nudged a few things, so hopefully the retargeting will hammer me with the ad again. Seen it a few times the last couple of weeks, so I'm sure it'll come back, because once I get that, I'll get a copy of it, we'll bring it into this series, and that'll be the target for what we're trying to do with these shorts. Lastly, update pipeline to reflect any changes, because we are making tweaks. And then I've just added this, which I don't normally do. Build to support future changes. A future change will introduce further processing steps to influence how the webcam footage is scaled in the render stages. Do not implement anything for this now, but make design and coding choices with this in mind. This is going to be about when I introduce FFmpeg's freeze detection and try and get it to detect motion in the screen recording. Because then what I'm going to do is go, hey, if the screen's not doing anything, or if I'm like gesticulating, then start doing cuts between just the webcam footage and the screen with the video down the bottom left, because I think that'll make the videos visually more interesting. That could be another one that sounds like a good idea but just doesn't work. But I'm just saying, hey, when you're looking at this, keep that in mind. So let's get going. Plan mode, it's got the PRD. Before I start, because Claude is pretty aggressive, gonna just check in split screen PRD. Didn't really need to do that just for the PRD, but now we know we're working fresh, because what I'm expecting to happen is the plan mode turns into the, oh, I've planned it and I'm gonna start working. Analyze this requirement. So I'm not telling it to go build this yet. I mean, I could. I'm like 80-90% sure this is all possible. What I'm not sure about is whether there's things I haven't thought about that could break, and it writes a load of code and then goes, oh, I've missed something fundamental and the whole thing's broken. I'm going to talk about unit tests in a second as well, while this is having a think. So by putting it in plan mode, Claude's doing the analysis, and you can see it's going over all the code and going, okay, I understand what he's after from the PRD, but let me look at the code as well and see, you know, does the PRD match the state of the code, and has he thought of everything? And normally what's going to happen with plan mode is it'll go, you didn't think of this, or there's a problem with what you want to do, it's not possible, which is rare, which will mainly be this overlay stuff, but I'm assuming that will be doable with FFmpeg. Risk might be it's doable, but the quality's crap, so we'll have to see. Unit tests. So those of us in software engineering aspire to write automated tests for our code, such that when I ship a change, I've written enough tests that if someone else makes a change unrelated to my changes, but don't realize they've actually accidentally broken something, all the tests will run and it will go, oh, hey, engineer B, you've broken engineer A's work. And then they go, oh, whoa, I didn't realize that. So I haven't got any testing this yet. I'm still in a bit on spike mode on this. But what I do on some of my other projects is, like, I have an instruction file for my agents that basically say, any change you make, always do a compile, always run tests, always create tests, and if any existing tests fail, stop. So if it's creating new tests, fine, it can write its own tests and run those till they pass. But the idea in it running existing tests is it might make changes and break stuff that's already there. So this is a key example of that, where I'm going, hey, fork the process, because it could fork it but end up breaking the old route, which means I've now got to manually test the old route and the new route, and we're getting a few things hanging together here. So the idea with automating testing is, you don't have to keep checking and introducing bugs, which AI will do, and you've got a level of protection. So testing is really important once sort of code starts getting serious, which this isn't yet. The other thing is, because I've done this quite atomically with these script files, some of these are going to be easier to test than others. All the ones that are making AI calls, they're going to be hard to test. So I'll probably make another video where I talk about testing later on. But just an aside, what's it come back with? I'm not going to read this out. Extract the time range from both left and right. Scale each kip to 1080 wide, maintaining that. Left webcam, top half right, bottom half. Stack, VStack. So this is all the FFmpeg stuff I'm just completely unaware of, and then crazy stitchy thing. So that's fine. It's going to be tricky to change later, but if it gets this far, I'll be pretty damn happy. Then output pipeline. Step 9 becomes config conditional. Further proofing notes. The design asks, this design keeps discrete intermediate files. A future step, e.g. 3B process webcam, can be inserted between step 3 and 9 to transform recompose left without touching the render scripts. So that's fine. It's getting the idea. I wouldn't do it in step 3 and 9. Yeah, okay, that's fine. As what's going to verify, and it's giving checks. Sounds good. Go, auto edit. So I don't need to manually approve each change it edits, because I've done a git commit. Everything this does is going to be one change step. So I'm going to be able to look at everything it does, and it will be very, very easy to see the changes. And then if there's problems, it doesn't work, we'll be able to figure that out. How are we doing for time? 18 minutes. Mindful of my 25 meg Whisper audio upload buffer. We'll keep going for a little bit. In fact, what I might do, I'm going to pause while this is churning the code, then I'll pick up when it's finished. Okay, Claude is done. I haven't looked at any of the code. First thing it's done, added that source processing mode. I've just changed it to split screen because I want to test it immediately. And then these sort of split screen settings are cool. We're going to go through and test this and then look at the code one by one. Obviously, we know some of the stages in this are slower and are going to get slower because of this. So I've already updated the test scripts, and I've got a test split screen file we can use to try these out. Let's start right at the top with pre-flight. I've named it split screen, so we can run that one first, and we should see a nice big input size 10 meg. Where's the estimate for the size? Disk space required gig 0.1, which would be 100 meg. Fine, whatever. Don't really care about that. All right, on to process footage. So this is where the fun begins. So if this works, we should get, under split screen, 2 files and the audio. There's our audio. Let's see if that's right.
Now a quick test, so just
renders side left, side right. Okay, let's take a look at these immediately. See if it's done it, because if it hasn't, I'm in trouble. Yes! Great. So it's extracted one side. Awesome. And extracted the other side. My God. I love AI. I'll keep that open. Alright, so going good so far. We are on to stage 2. Silence timestamps. I'll run it because we'll need it. Have I got it right? Yeah, go. So there's not been any change to that. No silent segments, which is fine because it's like a 10-second video. That's cool. And then number 3, recompose video. I've completely forgotten why I asked this to do now. Okay, it's just going to do the cut and spit out both recompose. So this is kind of dead because there's nothing to recompose. I'm going to run it anyway. This will be an interesting test because sometimes when you write code, like it's very easy to write code where if there's nothing to process, it can actually cause an error. I.e., you write code that doesn't check for the length of jobs being 0, and that can cause stuff to crash. So this is a good test of, hey, will this still work with nothing to do, which it has. Expect no less from Claude. Recompose left, recompose right. So I've still got these separate footage clips. I'll need to test this on the real thing, which will be this video when I'm finished recording. Generate transcript should be nice and quick. This is just going to go to Whisper. Might have a look at this just because I'm paranoid. Interesting, it hasn't edited it, which means it's just going to use the processed audio. Yeah, as I wrote in the PRD. So there's nothing to do there. Where's the transcript? Yep, another quick test, blah, blah, blah. Nothing to do there. Build job manifest. This will be junk because this is so short a video. Like, it's not really going to do much. I'll run analyze narrative, but it's not going to have any shorts to extract or anything. So I don't think there's much to do here. Just notice that's wrong. Let's generate content. I can't remember whether I need generate content for step 8 to work, but we'll run it anyway. We won't be able to generate shorts, so I'm not even going to bother doing generate shorts. I'll just test the widescreen, and if that works, great. I'll call it quits there. I'll stop this video, and then I'm going to use this video as a test for the whole thing again, and then we can look at the shorts. So off screen, I will run this video through up to the generate short stage, and then we'll pick up from there, and we'll see if this gives us something half decent for the shorts rendering. Sets off to Claude, giving it 10 seconds of speech to generate stuff back. I'm assuming this is going to be absolute junk. Could probably have run render HD video straight away, but never mind. I'm going to trash this as soon as it's done because I can see the bulk of it's working. I suppose the recompose, the overlay is going to be a key test, like can FFmpeg overlay the video and it still look decent quality like what came out of OBS. Claude is taking its sweet time. That's a big prompt, so if you remember what this sends up to Claude, Does AI video processing actually destroy your CPU? I tested it. It's got that out of 10 seconds. Pretty good. All right, here we go. Generate HD output. So as I said, I'm only going to run this one. Final video, moment of truth. Has it done what I wanted?
Now a quick test, I just want to see what the CPU is doing with the bigger video output.
Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. So I haven't got masking. I'll be able to do that if I want. Not too worried about it. But yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. Awesome. So I'm pretty confident the Shorts is going to work because this does. So I'll stop the video there. I'm going to run this video you're watching right now through this pipeline, and then we'll pick up on the Shorts.